Hello there, this is Miss Alana and I have with me Miss McLean, our reading specialist and also our literacy representative. She spends a portion of her time to help the teachers implementing best practices in the classroom. She also collaborates with them when it comes to planning instruction strategies in order for us to address our students' needs. And of course, she also helps the teachers, monitor this, the kids' progress in reading in particular. And we are so fortunate that we have Miss McLean, and I'm so lucky that I'm part of this team. And then right now, Miss McLean is teaching literacy in 3rd and 4th grade. Hey, Miss McLean, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
All right, Miss McLean. I know that one of the teachers' challenges in the classroom is having these kids who have special needs at the same time. They are also struggle in reading. Can you tell us about what are the reasons why there are kids really struggling in reading?
Okay, some children struggle for a number of reasons. One reason could be environmental, that some children have been exposed to lead at an early age, and because of that, that may delay some of their cognitive ability.
Right.
So they may have problems reading because of that. In some instances, it just may be that they don't have parental support at home, and nobody's basically taking them to the library or having them read at home to them, or reading actually to them. Sometimes we have illiterate parents that they're not able to do that, and then sometimes we unfortunately have the case where children may not have had a teacher that really understood how to get them to read or how to get them to the code, and so because they may have missed some of those basics, when they get a little older, it's hard to catch up because
they haven't that good foundation.
Right, their foundation isn't there.
Right, okay. So speaking of these kids who have special needs in your class, I know that these kids are at risk for school failure or for learning and also learning to read. What are the common or areas of reading that they are really struggling with?
Okay, well, some areas in 3rd and 4th grade, I see that their fluency is still an issue. Like some children are still reading very slow, like their rate is very slow. And that's just because when they have read, people have told them, okay, you have to pick up your pace, like you should be reading like you talk. So I always do the little illustration of them, I don't say to you, good morning, boys and girls. Exactly. I say, good morning, boys and girls. So just trying to get them to understand that fluency, it should be smooth when they read. And really, with children that are having issues with fluency, it's because they're having issues with decoding words in some cases. So I really try to get children to implement just the reading over the sentences again. So once you know the words, read it again. Right, and then that will help pick up their fluency. Another thing I see is comprehension. A lot of children are not able to comprehend what they're reading, and that could just be because they don't know what strategies to use while they're reading. Or it could be that they have not mastered how to decode words yet. So when they're trying to read them, they don't know what the word is, so therefore they're not going to understand what they're reading, and hence, comprehend what they're reading.
Right. So if they are struggling with the area of fluency, so that also affects the comprehension area too. Right. All right. So what reading instruction do you provide for these kids?
For those children that are struggling? Well, I of course, to do assessments to see exactly what they need help with. Just trying to make sure I do running records, or where you had the child read to you, and then you're kind of marking down the errors that they're making just to see if there's a pattern. That's one thing that I do with them. I try to get them into a group. I try to do the groupings by ability sometimes in some cases, and then sometimes I may pair them with a peer where they would read to someone that is a fluent reader, and that person might time them, or they may do some type of little game, you know, with the fluency, and that person may say, okay, now listen to me read. You know, like the peer is kind of acting like the teacher, you know. I want you to hear me read, and then you read it like I read it, you know. So just having a friend to do that with helps a lot of times. For that fluency.
Right, that sounds great, Ms. McLean. All right, what about the support that these kids are getting from their parents? I mean, what kind of, how do the parents deal with their kids who have this reading problems?
Okay, well, some parents, you know, are very supportive.
Right.
Some parents, you know, they'll come in and say, okay, well, can I have some extra work to do at home with them? You know, tell me what should I be doing at home, and they just want to know, you know, what they should do. Then you have some parents who, you know, may have dropped out of school, and they'll come in and tell me sometimes, I don't know how to do this, you know, I didn't finish school, you know, so they, you know, so just trying to be supportive of them, and trying to tell them, okay, well, you can do little things, you know, like, you know, have them read to you, you know, and, you know, if you're having any problems with some of the things they're reading, or you need help, come and let me know, you know, we're there to work together, we're a team.
Right, so there's also collaboration with the parents, and the communication is very open to each other in both parts. All right. What about the school? Like, what programs, you know, does the school is giving to these kids? Like, do we have programs, and what programs do we have?
Well, teachers have to put that intervention into place. At one time, we used to have a an intervention teacher. Unfortunately, because of budgeting, we don't have one this year, and I would probably think we won't have one next year. So so teachers are going to have to do the interventions in their classrooms, and they're also going to have to be honest, you know, and let us know whether or not they need help with that, because it's very important that children get the intervention that they need to become successful at reading. But we also have special education resource teachers that do come and pull children out of the classroom, and they're out for a certain period of time depending on their IEP, and they're out and they actually go with that person, and that resource person teaches them whatever they need to learn to be successful at reading. So those are the things that we have available here at school.
Right. So, okay. What tips or ideas would you suggest for our students to have in order for them, especially for our young ones, our young readers on the lower grade, because there are also kids who are still into like struggling in reading, and we know that in order for them to become successful reader in the upper grade or in the future, is that they should have a good solid foundation in reading. So what tips or like suggestions that would you like to, you know, give to these kids or to the teachers who are working with these young ones?
Well, I think that children learn when they're motivated.
Right.
So you have to be excited about reading. Like, yes, I know we teach it every day, day in out, you know, day in, day out. But you have to be excited about it. You have to really be into it, because if they see that you're excited about reading, they'll get excited as well. And we know that a lot of our boys are very rambunctious, and they can't sit very long. So you have to make sure that teachers have to make sure, I know you do it, but teachers have to make sure that they're doing activities where children are up moving around, sitting, things with music, because
something that is very interesting.
Right, because you have to make sure that all children are learning. So you have to tap into those modalities and make sure that they're all learning. And again, you have to be excited, like you have to, especially with children that are struggling. Like, you have to figure out, okay, what's their motivation? Do they like sports? Oh, okay, well we're gonna play this game using a ball. Or, you know, they like to dance. Okay, I'm gonna put some ballerina shoes on my papers the next time I hand them out. You know, so you really have to know your children, and you have to know exactly what motivates them.
Exactly. It's something like you have to teach them first or show them first. Like, I mean, must be like love and joy in reading, and there's a lot of fun in reading. That sounds really great.
Yeah.
Okay. What about in your career? Like, I know in our job, it's not easy to like deal with kids every single day. But what do you find the most challenging about teaching kids, especially these kids who have special needs in particular?
Right. Well, I think that their behavior really can get in the way a lot of times, because a lot of children, if they don't understand something, they may clown around or try to be silly to make other children laugh, or they may bother other children or distract, you know, other children while they're learning, just because they don't understand. So just knowing your students and really understand, okay, I already know if I don't put this child right by my knee while I'm doing this read aloud, they are going to days out into space, you know. Or if you're doing small group instruction, just knowing what children you need to keep close to you, or if they showed off doing your whole group lesson, saying to them, now look, I know you can do this, you know, and I saw you, and I don't, you know, just giving them a nice little pep talk right there, and motivating them right from there, because some children do need that one-on-one time with you, and it's very hard to do with 30 children in a class, but again, you just have to know what works for your students.
Right, exactly. And that's really effective for them. And yep. And what about the things that you find the most rewarding in your job, like dealing with these kids?
I like when the light bulb goes off. I like when, you know, I've been pushing them to get these things, and they've been, you know, kind of bucking at me like, I don't want to do this, I hate reading, you know, and then all of a sudden they get it and they're like, hey, Miss McLean, and I'm like, see, I told you, you know. So just trying to get them to understand that, you know, if you work hard and keep at it, you know, you can do it, you know, just and I think that that's really good for their self-esteem as well, because then they understand, oh, I can do things if I work hard. Because some children, when they are struggling at something, they don't have that internal motivation. Like they're not really saying to themselves, okay, come on, Johnny, come on, you can do it. You know, so you have to be there to motivate them along the way and really get them to do it.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Ms. McLean, for sharing and spending your time, right? And sharing your ideas. This is such a great help for me, and also for the rest of the teachers that who are working with you. We have a good team.
Yes,
We normally always do a good collaboration with each other. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, and good luck every day.
You too. You're doing a wonderful job. Keep up the good work.